Hey guys, thanks for watching. This is the Rebel Scum podcast, Last Jedi review. I'm James Razile. This is...
I just saw Last Jedi.
We both just saw Last Jedi. We literally we rushed back here. Go on Instagram, Rebel Scum podcast on Instagram. You can see our immediate reaction.
Yeah,
Me,
I
Brock,
won't shout into
Aaron,
the mic right now.
Me, Brock, and Aaron all do a reaction there. And now we're going to give a reaction. So the first few minutes of this is going to be completely spoiler-free.
Yes.
We're going to go spoiler-free, and then we're going to go into we will do spoilers. We're going to go into spoilers a little bit after that. You will see this graphic right here. When we go into spoilers, it will say spoiler, and that is that. And then you can, if you haven't seen it, stop watching it then, unless you want to know what happens. Because a lot happens in this movie.
Oh, gosh. It's 2.5 hours of things that happen because... First of all, let's just say our reactions. Obviously... we're happy about this movie. I feel like we are in a renaissance of Star Wars movies now, where it's like we have no idea what's going to happen, and it brought all my expectations. I'm happy. I'm ready to go see this another 3 or 4 times.
We are probably going to do it before we watch it again before we do the next Rebel Scum episode 73. We're probably going to watch it again before that together. Erin doesn't know. She's coming for that one. Hi. She said okay. Okay, here's my it was 2.5 hours.
Yes. Very long.
It is very long.
I was at the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
But
it paces very well. My issue though was the beginning, and I just felt the pacing at the beginning was a little off. It was like it had to get here, it has to get here, it has to get here. And I said this to you right before we recorded. If you watch the Rogue One review that we do, I say the exact same thing about Rogue One. Rogue One to me felt like it was like we got to go this planet and this planet and this planet, and it takes them a little bit of time to get it all to get the flow going. So, but now a year later, Rogue One is one of my favorite Star Wars films. So I'm not going to use that as a slight against it. Yeah. I've seen it once. You know, you have, and we talk about keeping the expectations at the door. You still go in and you're still like, what's going to happen? And so and then when the movie starts, like, oh, this is how this is happening. This is how, and then so for me that would be the gripe I'm going to say right now.
I can agree with you on that. I felt differently. I felt like it was like they were doing it to like you said, we got to get from here to here in 5 minutes because we have another 2.5 hours we have to deal with.
But you know what it was? Sorry, not to cut you off. But what it was when I saw it was a lot of where's Rey, and then it cut to Rey, and then it was a lot and there was a lot of like, you're gonna do X, I'm gonna do what, and they would cut to like instead of, and you know, this has the least amount of transitions, the wipes in all of Star Wars. It felt like if they would have just let that breathe a little bit, go to have an establishing shot and do a little clock wipe. I think, but then your movie goes from 2.5 hours to 2 hours and 40 minutes because look, every time you add 30 seconds of something, you do that twice, that's a minute. You do it 10 times. That's a lot of...
No, I didn't mind it. My reaction is I didn't mind it. But thinking about it on the car ride here, it was... One thing that was missing in our audience was engagement. And maybe that's because we're the fan... We got to go to the special fan screening.
Well, we saw it in the 19-plus theater.
The 19-plus theater.
And actually, when the movie started, Aaron was like, there's no clapping. But at
the point I'm getting at.
Yeah. So at the beginning, they showed a John Williams,
which is very cool, and we got cool tops, collectors things, amazing stuff. So excited, double-sided. I'm sure if you're a fan, you've probably seen this on the internet. But we got a BB-8 and a Bizarro BB-8, BB-90,
BB-90, who I actually enjoyed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he was actually.
No, we can say we won't say what happens, but look, he does not steal the show in the way BB-8 steals The Force Awakens.
But he's not background stuff.
But he's not C2B5, who is my favorite unit. So yeah, he is in it. One thing I have to give props to Rian Johnson on was the use of creatures in this film was the best, and that I think he understands that almost as much, if not as much, as George Lucas, in terms of they weren't just there for, they all served a purpose.
Yes. Oh, very, very much. Yeah. And even if it's small little details, it was just, I still had a good time, but if it was a normal audience where we didn't see the John Williams thing, because people clap for the John, or at least when Ryan Johnson comes up, and then we see a little featurette on John Williams and music of Star Wars. But when it started, I'm just sort of sitting there waiting. I was like,
yeah,
it's like, it's happening right now. Like, there wasn't a cheer for the Lucasfilm, which was like, I kind of missed it, but it's fine. We were in a VIP theater. We were 19 plus. I get it.
The problem too with that is like it went from the John Williams. I shouldn't say problem. Wrong use of words. But it went the John Williams thing to the Lucasfilm logo. There's no fanfare, which was the thing with Force Awakens more than Rogue One. There's no fanfare, and it's almost like it's missing 30 seconds before you get, because it goes fanfare, silence, excitement. Now we're just going silence. There's nothing to get us. And now maybe if Disney puts that fanfare, they won't do it for 9. But if they did it for the Rian Johnson ones, I mean, but then you have to distribute it through Fox. I don't think they would do that. Yeah. So but anyway, this is nothing. This is nothing.
No, it's not a big deal. I just we're kind of just putting some non-spoiler content here, right? Yeah. But yeah, it was when I say that we're in a new period of Star Wars, we're entering it, and it's going to be, I will say, shaky. Because without giving any plot away, I think the fans are going to be divided.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a terrible movie. I think that's far from it. I will fight whoever. And come on, comments once you've seen it. We want to talk about it because this is.
There is a comment though from someone that saw it in the UK yesterday,
that's right,
and they said,
right.
I think we saw it in the UK, and they said they did not like it, and my dad absolutely hated it, and my sister couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
But we talked about this. We're like, and we've said this with Josh and the Dead End Nerds. We're like, this is going to be the movie where I think you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. Yeah. There's not going to be a middle ground. And I think what we saw was a movie where there's not going to be middle ground. And I'm very curious to see what word of mouth is on this one.
Yeah, that's why I bring it up. It's just like, this is going to be interesting. But I will argue, it doesn't have to be your favorite movie because it's episode 8 of 9 other movies. You're going to hate one of them. But I don't think you can say this is a terrible movie. You can have issues with it, and maybe there's an issue with plot. It's a long movie, and it's in space. That's another thing. But it was great. I was great. I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I'm pumping at least $50 to $60 more into this franchise. And I'm gonna take my parents to see this on Christmas, so I'm gonna have to buy 3 more tickets for one viewing.
Let us know what they think of it.
See, that's interesting. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to watch Force Awakens with them again.
My parents did not watch Force Awakens before they saw this.
I don't think you need. Well, I mean, it's always great to watch those movies prior, but like people like us, we have watched.
We did. Well, we just watched it. We could go for the commentary. So I
get texts from James on a regular basis, like, I watched Rogue One today, and it's been a pretty good day. That's it. That's just like, I just watched Rogue One again for the 15th time. Yeah. So, but that's why we are the Rebel Scum podcast. Yeah,
which they say Rebel Scum.
They say Rebel Scum 3 times, and I'm like, we have to get this audio.
At one point, they say it, and we'll end this with this review with this. But at one point, they say it, and I was in the middle. We had an entire row, and I was in the middle, and you were at the end, and the line came out, and I looked over at you, and you fist pumped in the air. Yeah. And there was a few times when I laughed, Aaron laughed, and you laughed, and I think we were the only people laughing in the theater.
That's the other thing too. We sat apart.
Yeah.
With our friends. We're a group of 10 people, most of James's family.
It's a big family.
So, I don't have to agree with anything they say. No, it's actually been like, it's a tradition now to go see these Star Wars movies in this large group, and it's fun. But even in that small group, we got a good sense of a mix-up of like liking or not liking, and like, but the ride over here, we're like, we should go over our old podcasts. Like, we were wrong here and there, and I love, kudos again to whoever made these trailers, because it did give you a sense of what the story was going for, but totally red herrings here.
And you know what? Even the
Without
without spoiling it, things that they did in the trailer that you're like, this is a misdirect. They're not even misdirects. They are, but they're not.
Yeah.
Like the trailer told you everything you needed to know.
Yeah.
Going into it, and I absolutely, but that's a good point you brought up. There was 10 of us, and out of 10 of us, you absolutely loved it. I really liked it. Aaron really liked it. My dad hated it. My mom really liked it. So that's 4 or 5.
Daryl said he liked it too. Rob seemed to be conflicted.
Rob, we'll get back to you guys on in like 4 days. My dad really hated it. My sister really hated it. So that's 2 definite hates.
Yeah.
And like 3 or 4 definite loves.
Yeah.
A few likes. And then I think Aaron's bridesmaid Marsha comes all the time. She doesn't even like Star Wars. She just comes.
She was very engaged, and she's already like, "You gotta talk about this and this and this."
Yeah, like so. I think, and the thing I said this to Rob, and I think he argued with me, but I think those like the 10 people that we went with were all varying demographics.
Yeah,
and our love for Star Wars varies as well. They're not. It's not like all 10 of us are diehard Star Wars. So, and I think that really sums up what the average audience is going to be.
And it's funny, I think it was your sister Kristen even says like, sorry, but I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
As if it was a slight against me.
Well, you were very excited.
Yeah, well.
She did, and I will say this, Force Awakens, and we talked about this. This is the thing. Force Awakens is that fun popcorn fluffy film. I compared it to it's the cake and this is your greens.
Yeah.
And you need one with the, but you just got your dessert first.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to get dessert at the end. I'm going to say this. I was skeptical on J.J. Abrams coming back for 9 because, The Force Awakens is. Now I'm like, yes. Perfect, because this movie it never gets dark.
No.
But it kind of knows where it lives.
Yep.
And now I think the next one can be so much fun that the people that don't like this one are going to forgive this one. I think it's going to be very Empire Strikes Back, how Empire Strikes Back didn't have the greatest scores we were talking about too when it first came out. And the next movie, J.J. Abrams, is a popcorn guy. And I think he's going to be able to take... I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think he's going to be able to bring this trilogy home.
Yeah.
I really do after watching this one.
Rian Johnson, I don't think he wrote anything maliciously, but a lot of this movie, and throw us your opinions once you've seen it, I feel like a lot of the things he did was like a slam against what fan theories were.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, this is not what we're going to do. This is not that. That's not this. This is my story. And yeah, without... I can't say anything more besides that. I think he did an excellent job. I'm still a fan of Rian Johnson. I'm excited for this new trilogy after the Skywalker.
Yeah, and we're going to go into spoilers in just a second because I think the ending of the movie hints at where he's going to be going with his trilogy. Not exactly, but it hints at something is hinted at the very end, and we will get on that. Also, if you played Battlefront 2, know that ending does not tie in.
And I'm going to ask Andrew this when I see him after you've seen the movie. Like, the Legend of Luke Skywalker book, I feel like it gives it validation after seeing the movie.
Really?
Because you're just like, it doesn't reveal anything about the movie, but it does really work. And you're like, oh, yeah. So
I gotcha. All right, guys, we have to do this now. Because thank you for watching. If you have not seen the movie, this is where you're going to want to turn it off.
Yeah.
You are welcome to return to anytime you want and watch us and click a like button and subscribe button. We really appreciate it. But thank you so much for staying around. But now we are going to move on to spoilers. And the first thing I want to say is these guys right here, the Porgs, absolutely love the Porgs. Absolutely love them.
I can't say enough. It was great. And it was awesome how they just implemented into the background a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And then just their puppets for most of it too. Like, it was, oh my God. I am very interested to see how the internet will now react to them.
Here's the thing. So I was sitting next to Rob, and Rob was like, I don't know if I like porks before the movie started. And I was like, I don't know why. And then because people are like, oh, they're Ewoks and they're annoying. But the thing is, they show up. They do exactly what I think we talked about a few weeks ago, where they are going to be. Chewie is going to, because Chewie has a heart of gold. We've seen he hates C-3PO, but we see it in the original trilogy when he carries him around his back. He tries to repair him. And I was like, this is going to be his 3PO because he's going to need something to do. And that's exactly what they were. They give him something to do. But the first time we really see him encounter them, he fries one.
He killed 2 of them.
Yeah, and he's
cooked them. And they look like chickens, but you know that they're porgs because he still has the feet on them.
And then the porg just gives him the Bambi eyes. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and then he can't. It's so good, and it's like there's a lot of humor in this movie.
A lot of humor. It starts off pretty much with a joke.
Oh God, that was amazing with Poe and everything about it.
Yeah.
I was like in. The second that scene finished, I was like, I'm in. I am in. Give me whatever you want. And it's funny because it's sort of like we didn't really get to see a lot of Poe in the first movie.
He is, I would argue, it's the Rey Kylo Poe. It's like, it's their story and his story. Because and people argue me about this all the time, he is Leia. He is our new Leia.
Yeah, very true.
I know he's a male, not a female, but Rey is a female, not a male. So you just switch those two. And I know he was supposed to die, but he has become Leia.
Yeah.
And I think going into 9, they're not going to have Carrie Fisher. You've established Poe in that role. Yeah. So I think you're fine there.
The Imperial officer that's with Hux a lot of the time I thought that was Admiral Pietro. I was like, he's still alive? I'm like, no. But he looked very similar.
He did. I think he was a pretty good actor, actually.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. Yeah. They must have said his name. You know what? Like, this is the problem with these movies. You're so excited that I missed a lot of details. They even said a few things to me on the car ride back that I was like, oh, this and that. I'm like, oh, I didn't even see that. So
yeah, well, one thing you didn't know was Gareth Edwards. You can see Gareth Edwards. He's on Crate.
Yeah.
When there's a guy picks up the ground and goes, it's salt. The person to his right is Gareth Edwards. There's a few cool little nods in there. I gotta see this again, but there was a lot of things I was like, oh, that. And the big one is, you don't even have to look for it this time or listen for it this time, is Yoda just flat out shows up.
He shows up. We got a Force Ghost like we were talking about for so long. I thought that was fantastic. It's a return to the puppet.
Yeah.
Do you think it was the original puppet? Because it looked slightly different, but it definitely tried to mimic.
It was slightly different. You know what? I will say the front of the puppet looked great. The back of his head looked like a Muppet. Yeah, I was like, they should have CG'd the back of his head. But it was like original trilogy crazy Yoda playing with Luke.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite moments was when Luke Skywalker says, Master Yoda. That was like, Luke, it's Luke. Luke's back. Because Luke is so disgruntled,
and he calls him Luke, which is kind of cool. I don't think when he says like Luke, I'm like, I don't think he always calls him Skywalker, right? It's oh man,
and he does the one thing, and I kudos to Ryan Johnson for this, is Luke at one point in the movie says the Jedi sucked. They were so wrong. They let Sidious take over the galaxy from under them.
Yeah.
And then when Yoda shows up, he burns down the tree with the journals of the Jedi.
Yeah.
The original writings of the Jedi. Yoda's the one that does it. That is so poignant to me. Like, that is the best part, because we talk about all the time, Yoda knows what's going on. He's wiser than he appears, and he's the one that says, this is over.
And that's not a new idea. It's just the first time that's really addressed on screen. Which is great. And it's... just that whole scene is just like, you think you know what's about to happen. And I think that's where people are going to get mad. Because they're like, well, I was expecting it to be this. And it's like, well. And Luke's first word, sorry, Saad Akbar. Because Ryan Johnson says, like, the first word is
it's weird. They're all, but it's on Dakar, and it's Billy Lord and then the other guy, and he goes, "We're gonna have to."
Oh, sorry. I thought that's right. I had it twisted in my head. The first line that Luke says, the first word is Luke says. Never mind then. But like, this is I think it's great, but yeah, this is where I'm getting way too ahead of myself.
So let's talk about Luke, the lightsaber send off. What did you think?
At the very, very end.
Very beginning when Rey gives Luke the lightsaber.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Aaron called that one.
And that's what I'm referring to, where it's like, no, we're not gonna give you a movie you've already seen anymore. It's like, because that's what we've been waiting for 2 years. What does he say to her? What happens next?
And
I was like,
when that happens, he tosses it. When that happens, I was like, and that's Mark Hamill said he fundamentally disagrees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because
I'm like, that's what. I mean, and obviously as you go along, you also are along, but that makes so much sense why he would do that. Because one thing with Luke though is when you see his day-to-day living, I did feel it was a little bit over the top.
Yeah, very much. So.
Because Ray's like, I seen what you do all day. It's not that much. I'm like, it almost would have been better if he just sat by a campfire.
Yeah.
And like didn't really do anything and played like a flute.
It would almost be better. Oh, it's so. I think I said this once before. It's like, I bet they try to make him like a Yoda character where you have to. It's like go find this guy, and it's like this guy's crazy because it's like you see him milking those weird things on the side of the water.
I thought of you the minute that happened.
Was way back when making Star Wars was revealing
that was
those creatures. It doesn't look like them, but like
no, it did. Actually, their drawing was very similar to that.
I thought it was like a big amorphous blob, but whatever.
No, we got to go back because I remember it being white with a.
Yeah.
But I could be completely
wrong.
Whatever.
It doesn't really matter.
It does.
But
matter.
he milks it and then drinks it. It's like, that's good. And then moves on, and then he's fishing from like super duper high. I thought it was like at some test that she would have to like jump across. It's like, couldn't you go closer?
That's what I mean. Like, it just felt those things were over the top. But whatever.
Walking up a hill and walking down the hill, and she follows him, and he goes this way and that way. I love that. I like that quite a bit, but again, I think it would make more sense if she didn't know he was an actual like legend and all that. But of course, he deals with that. It's like I was a legend. Look what happened to me.
Yeah, I like that he kind of justifies. Mm-hmm. He's like, I was a legend, and then I it's my fault. But Kylo Ren exists. He puts all the pressure on him. I really like that. We have to go into Snoke.
Another reason, slam to the internet.
I friggin' love this. So yesterday I did the live stream, which I remember I texted you. I'm like, it came to me. I'm like, Snoke has to die.
Yeah.
Because I can't see Snoke surviving, and the thing is, the books can say this about Snoke, the books can say that about Snoke, but the bottom line is he is a garbage hologram in The Force Awakens.
Yes.
And Rian Johnson said he's not going to be in this movie that much. Okay?
Yeah.
And every time somebody spoke about Snoke, they tried to lower your expectations of Snoke. And then Andy Serkis said, well, he's more powerful. He has more resources. And when he said that, I was like, I don't buy that.
Yeah.
And I never really bought. We were supposed to talk about it a couple weeks ago and we forgot. But I was like, when he died, I was waiting for that saber to go through him. How did you feel? Well, first off, how did you feel about his death?
I wasn't expecting the death. I was always game to like, okay, he could just go away because he's a 10-foot tall humanoid. Like you can't do much with that. I think Andy Serkis did great.
I actually really liked his performance.
But did find in the middle of the movie, it's like this doesn't sound like the Snoke from.
No, he had a different voice. But I thought he was better in this than in Force Awakens.
Oh like, his performance very was much so. It was great. It was so good. Like, and again, it's like, because he's basically Darth Sidious, in a sense. I mean, we don't know his plan, but we went into this movie like maybe he has a plan. We're gonna find out, and we like it's not really like okay, well we'll just kill all of you and then we'll be in charge. And like, but it's just again, it's like okay, he's our super bad guy and we have to overcome him. It's like no, he's just. He has a lot of force power. That's about it.
But see, this is the one thing now is how did he get like who? It's still who is?
Yeah, no, and I want to know. And I think I said to you, it's like I could see in episode 9 we get a little bit more backstory.
Yeah,
or maybe in books. Who knows?
No, I think it's got to. I think it has to be in the movie because now for 2 movies. We have heard how Snoke has corrupted Ben Solo.
Yeah.
Because Leia says it in Force Awakens, and Luke says it in this one. He goes, it was too late. Snoke already got him.
Yeah.
And then they just off Snoke. So it's like, but then who the hell is this guy that he was able to manipulate your nephew?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, okay, you could be mad at Luke, but then why go that way?
Unless they figure that they're justifying how Snoke says to Kylo, "You could have been the new Darth Vader."
Yeah.
If that is, if Lucasfilm and everyone feel like that's a big enough justification.
Yeah.
But then the question is, how did he even get to know who Ben Solo is?
Exactly. Oh man. It's yeah. What was I gonna say? Did you notice when he smashes the helmet at the beginning? It kind of looks like Vader for like a second when he smashes it. Oh god, I totally lost what I was saying.
He has such great hair.
So many thoughts. Oh, Adam Driver?
Yeah, great hair.
Speaking of hair, I was like, I think I could grow Poe Dameron hair. Like we both have wavy hair. He just has like more whatever and length here. I'm like, Poe Dameron, yes.
You totally could. So let's go on to Finn.
Finn.
FN2187. He has a. My sister said that he did not get enough screen time in this one. I felt that his screen time was fine. My one question was, so him and Rose have to go off on a secret mission to get Benicio del Toro, but it's not even Benicio del Toro. They're trying to get somebody else, and then they accidentally get Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, they escape on a ship, and I was like, but how are they not tracking that ship? And then you find out later that they're only tracking the main ship. It was a terrible plan. Absolutely terrible plan. But it was cool to see Finn go back on there. And Benicio del Toro, fantastic in this.
Yeah, oh, very much so. Yeah, I agree. Like, the whole, like, well, we're running, so what we'll do is some of us will go off. And I'm like, what? Like, it's, I mean, yeah, like, they do give you a reason, like, to get around it. But when they first started doing it, I was like, but by the end, I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. It's funny because it's like the world's slowest car chase.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, but I love Benicio del Toro. I love Canto Bite. I just got to see the movie again just for those scenes because I was like, what's that? 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 The fat ears, which is pretty much shown to you in the Legends of Luke Skywalker, which is very interesting because they're a ship delivering them for those races. So it's kind of that part of it fits in together. And then the ship is full of kids. So when we see all these kids working with the fat ears, they're like, oh, like it doesn't make any difference on the movie, but it's like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Speaking of kids, the movie ends with a kid.
Yes.
Which was a strange choice, but the kid grabs a broom with the Force.
That I missed.
So did Rob.
Yeah, so, but I took it as a sense of either way, it's a symbol of, like, there is still hope.
Yeah.
Because he's got the ring with the Rebel Alliance, and then he somehow has the Force, too.
Which is when you look at it, you're like, well, maybe Rian Johnson's new trilogy is just a sequel to this trilogy, but doesn't feature any Skywalkers at all, because Rey's not a Skywalker.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know.
Well, we don't know.
We'll get into that in a little bit. But this kid is not a Skywalker.
No.
By any stretch of the imagination. He's just someone who obviously can use the
Oliver
Force.
Twist of the...
Basically.
Yeah.
And I honestly was like, I love it. Like, I love that they left everything. They left the characters and they went to some random child who you saw for a second, who Rose gave a rebellion ring to, resistance ring to, and he uses the Force and he looks up at the stars and it just, see ya.
Yeah. It was so great. And just Rose, her fitting in with that and like hating Canto Bite because it's like we just want to like live and exist, but we got the problem of the Empire or the First Order coming in, or just weapon dealers who, as DJ points out, when they steal that ship, it's like, oh, this guy sold, he sold weapons to the bad guys. Oh, and the good guys. You're like, oh, what? But that's true. I mean, it's a huge commentary on war in itself. I think there is a gray middle ground where it's like people just succeed from suffering, and Canto Bite is solely focused around that. I was like, wow. So
Finn had the worst line in the movie.
Yes.
Chrome Dome.
I don't remember. When does he say it? Like,
I think when they're fighting, he's like, "Let's do this, Chrome Dome."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oof, you guys missed it. You guys should have just left that one on the cutting room."
Yeah, you know what it was too? It's like, because we know he's supposed to fight Phasma. I guess that's my one complaint about the trailer, because we know he's going to fight Phasma. But, like, when Phasma shows up and he's there, they're like, the ship is in totally fine. And they're whatever. But we've seen the trailers. Like, everything's exploding around. It's like, well, something's about to happen in the next 10 to 15 minutes.
This trailer, as little as it did show, it showed a lot. Like, a lot more than the Force Awakens ones did. I'll say there was a few times where we're like, well, you know this is happening. Yeah. Like, you know Leia's coming back because we've seen shots with Leia. She's in more stuff. So, let's talk about Leia. Because she gets blown the crap up.
Yeah, like, for me, when that happened, I was like, oh my god, so that's just it? Like, she gets blown up, and then she uses the Force to survive the vacuum of space and go back into the ship. Yeah. That is, like, thank you. It's, I feel like, did you feel like when Luke is explaining the Force to Rey, that it's just like, yeah, we know? Or do you feel like Rian Johnson is hammering into every viewer that's like, look, the Force is not bad. It's how you use the Force.
Well, that's the point, and that's why we talk about the gray. Well, there's no gray Jedi, fine. But that they mentioned the balance a million times, and the balance and that's what it's about. And I think what it is you and I know that. But I think, like, my dad and my sister, they don't know that, and apparently they don't care. they don't know that. You know what I mean? Like, the average moviegoer does not know that. Going in, they're like, well, the Force is the good guys use the Force, the bad guys use this kind of Force, but it's all the same Force.
But now
Obi-Wan says what it is.
Yeah.
But now Luke is just kind of refining that.
Do you expect come Friday night or Saturday morning or Sunday, we're like, well, she died and came back to life because the Force needed her still? It's like, no, that's not how it works. Like, just because she is adept with the Force, that she can, like, sense it, doesn't mean, like, she can't use it. It's just she's not super powerful. Or do you think it? Or am I wrong? Is the Force like, well, I'm not done with you. You come back to life. Like,
no, that was her.
Yeah, I'm
gonna go with her.
Yeah, like, I think it's like, she's not a Jedi, but, like, she can understand how the Force works, and due to her will, she's able to bring herself back.
And look, since George Lucas's trilogy, or 6 movies, since the original trilogy, the Force has changed and grown.
Yeah.
So, because you have the prequels where they're Jedi running around doing whatever they want. Mm-hmm. Then you have the Clone Wars and Rebels, where they start changing it in there as well.
Yeah.
And even though that doesn't really affect the movies, what they do, and, like, the little things that they do, they can be like, well, you can do this with the Force now because this happened on X. And then what J.J. Abrams did in Force Awakens, where, like, things like the Force is, I think the Force now, and, you know, Star Wars, the Force Unleashed, all these games, I think, Knights of the Old Republic, they've taken the Force to the extreme, and so now the Force is bigger than it ever used to be.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think, like, Leia never would have been able to do that in the original trilogy, even if she knew she was a Skywalker from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because that just wasn't how the Force was back then.
Yeah.
But now, because, you know, in the Force Awakens, when Rey uses the Force without any training, now that's just acceptable.
Like, Rey's description of what the Force is to Luke is almost like
our description.
Yeah, it's sort of like, well, you can move stuff with your mind. It's like, it's not really that. It's like you commune with this energy source.
But when she says that harkens back to Han Solo, what he thinks of the Force before.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, very, very much.
And that's who basically she was with for the last little while of her life, was Han Solo, who reversed from that. But you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it really did it. Did you like Phasma's execution in this?
Yeah, it was fine. I think she was. I don't feel like she has a bigger part in this movie than she is in the other one.
I think she has I want to know what her screen time is, this versus that one.
Yeah, maybe more screen time, and definitely a way better use of her, but I don't feel like she's that much of a bigger character. You know what I mean? Because it's sort of like, well, guess what? I knew this was happening, and guess what? We're going to execute you now. Pow, 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 pow. It's like, oh, wait, Splody, and then we fight.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a terrible thing. You could still equate her to Boba Fett. Like, I think she's still an interesting character. But, like, yeah, like, it's like what they did was enough, in my opinion. I don't think anyone was like, we need more Phasma. I think she's an interesting character to look at. But what they did with her was fine. Your thoughts?
I liked what they did with her. Yesterday we talked about how I said I hoped she would be like the Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Close.
It was close.
Not quite there, but close. I think my rabbit just fell asleep. We're boring him. I think it was close. It was just like there's something. It's almost like if she wasn't in this movie and they're like she got killed in between movies.
Yeah, that's what
because
I was
she
gonna say.
botched up.
Yeah.
I would have been like. Fine. Like, because what happened, like her fight in this one, is it as good as Traitor in Force Awakens? You know what I mean? Like where now her death, I thought was cool.
Yep.
You can see her eye.
That's great.
Which was cool. But yeah, there was not. I like Phasma, but I think I like the Executioner Stormtroopers better because I thought they looked cool.
I guess the question is like, it's nice to have multi-level villains, right? It's like you got your huge boss man, you got your real villain, and then you got all these little like Hux is great. Hux is fantastic. Hux is still alive at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I thought Kylo was gonna kill him, and then he didn't.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if Hux is gonna, but like him through this entire movie is fantastic. I love Domhnall Gleeson, and I never want him to leave Star Wars, but of course, as a semi-villain, he's going to have to kick it at some point. But anyways, my point is, the problem with Star Wars is like they have to have these cool-looking characters, and they don't have to, but they enjoy making it cool. It's like, look at this Stormtrooper, it's silver.
Yeah.
And then they put it in the trailer, and like, what?
Well, that was actually, I think, an original design for Kylo.
Okay.
And they're like, let's just keep it for like, which makes sense. Exactly. Like if you're gonna have a hierarchy of stormtroopers, when I make a Chrome. But there should be more than one Phasma. Remember when she was Chrome Trooper? That was her name.
Yeah, okay.
But there should be more than one like Chrome Stormtrooper.
And when you want it, like it's just you never get the. Well, I guess they'll probably explain in the comic book. I'm a little behind on that one. But it's just like, well, if you got to be an officer at some point where you're in charge of all stormtroopers, wouldn't you be like, I don't want to wear this helmet anymore? But like, she's so devoted to it that she becomes like,
yeah, exactly.
And then like the lore of like, it's all melted down Naboo space parts. I'm like, that's great.
love it, absolutely love it. Okay, we've talked about everything but Rey.
Great. I thought it was fantastic.
We didn't talk about Kylo. We'll save him. Rey.
Rey, she's like Luke, but not Luke all at the same time. Like, she kind of undergoes the same kind of issues that he does, but deals with it differently. When she goes into that like weird hole, the evil hole or whatever on Octo, and it's just that mirror thing. Visually, that's cool, but like. I was just like, wow, you don't really get any answers on anything, which is kind of like, again, it's like, haha, you don't get that on this one.
Well, she saw herself.
Yeah.
She's like, I want to see my parents. And these two images come and they form to make Rey. And I thought that was really telling.
Yeah.
And that was the moment where, and we'll talk a little bit about her lineage in a bit, but that was the moment for me when I was like, her parents are nothing. She is the important part of all of this. Is what I felt. Now, when the movie ended, both my mom and Erin turned to me right away. Hi, Erin. She turned to me right away and she goes, "So, she's a solo." Like the minute the movie ended, she's a solo, and I'm like, "What?" She goes, and I said, "But they said that her parents are nothing." I don't buy that. That's what she said. I don't buy that. She's a solo.
All I know is there was no bogus like, "Yeah, I'm your father." Like. Thank you. Like
I was really hoping, man, the crawl would start with Luke reveals himself to be Rey's father. In the crawl, and then you just, but because you were at the end, you actually go through the middle aisle, like, and you walk in front of everybody in the row. Storm out.
No, I did not leave the stage. The first hour, I'm on the edge of my seat like this. I was like, yes. Rey was great. She's so, I mean, obviously she's the good guy. Like, I still think it's ambiguous exactly how the Force is all going to work out. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
That's the thing, like, they're going balance. And then that wicked Kylo Rey fight. And then Kylo did the Skywalker join me.
I'm really glad that they destroyed the blue lightsaber. Anakin's lightsaber.
Yeah, that was balls.
The visual of that fighting, but like I'm glad it's destroyed because that again, it makes Kylo correct where he's like, we have to destroy the past, and they destroy that lightsaber. It's like, yes.
The question is, is she just gonna use a staff in the next one? Like where?
It would be nice because she's always been partial to it. But again, it doesn't bother me. It would be nice if it opens and she's building her own lightsaber. Or are we not going to see that at all and she just have a lightsaber in the next one, right? I could see JJ doing the typical formula where like we jump ahead a little bit.
See, this one you can now. The last time you couldn't. Now you're like, we could go ahead 5 years if we want, 10 years. But we won't, I don't think. But yeah, you can go ahead for sure. I hope she has a different color than just blue or green or red or purple or yellow or orange would be. I would be totally fine with just for the hell of it. I guess that would be cool. I guess, but I was kind of hoping that she would join Kylo. Well, I didn't think she would. Like I figured they would do the join me thing. I didn't think it would be as blatant as join me. Yeah. But I did think, okay, they're going to try to work together and then she's not going to. But I thought I was really, really gunning for her to just get the Sith eyes. Just
yeah. And that's another thing. Like this, it's not the Sith because he doesn't have Sith eyes either.
But the cool thing was sorry, this is a side bar. Sidious, Sith, all that got mentioned.
Yeah. Oh.
The names all got validated from the prequels in this. It was like,
so
boom,
great.
these
so
are
great.
mentioned.
But the connection that they have, where they can literally be in two different places and still somehow connect like that, that's crazy. But then Snoke makes it seem like it was all his plan. But then at the end of the movie, we see it happen again, right? Yeah.
I think it was Snoke, and because of what Snoke did, it's lingering now. Like the Force is forever connected within them. And maybe Aaron's right. Maybe. I don't think maybe she's a
Wonder Twins power.
but there's something that connects them on some sort of level. Yeah. And what is it? And I think they're gonna have to figure that out. Mm. And if her parents are just junkers who sold her for alcohol, that's fine too. But there's something with her and Kylo, and that is more important than who her parents are. It's why is there a connection, and you got to deal with that. I mean, at the same time, they might not have to because they didn't deal with Snoke. So
it's just like, but the scene in Force Awakens where she remembers like seeing her parents or someone who she loved leaving her on Jakku with Unkar Plutt. I think you need to somewhat address that. You can't just write it off. They could still be drunkards, but like maybe she's. Like, as much as we learned more about Rey, we didn't learn a lot about what's going on up here. Yeah. She just wants to do the right thing. Or she just wants to create peace in the galaxy.
She's always felt something. She always felt the Force in her, but she never understood it.
Yeah.
Which still begs the question, how the hell did she know how to do that mind trick?
Yeah, but, like, you know.
No, I'm going to be on that forever.
But again, like, that's totally fine. Like, I agree when you first said that to me. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. These movies don't have to be perfect. And I think that, they have to be perfect for us.
Where's Jar Jar?
Oh, yeah. God, that'd be amazing. But you know what? Wait. They never went to Endor? They never went.
Mustafar was just going to say that.
Wow.
But they didn't. Here's the thing, though, is we hear all these rumors, blah, blah, blah. Then you watch the movie, and the movie takes place in this pocket of space.
Yeah.
Like this big, and on Acto.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like, there's nowhere else. This is Empire. I know it's not Empire Strikes Back, but it's 100% Empire Strikes Back in that respect. Like, but it is reverse Empire Strikes Back in a lot of ways. Hoth is great, and it begins it's reverse Empire Strikes Back in so many ways. And you have the rebels resistance trying to leave, the Empire chasing them, and then someone turns on them. Yeah, Benicio del Toro. Who I really, really liked again. I don't think we'll ever see him in Star Wars ever again.
I don't think so.
Although, would it be good? You never know. But I really don't think so. He was really cool. Actually, let's talk Holdo a little bit. Yeah. She came in, stomped her boots, took over while Leia was in a coma, and then all of a sudden, she wasn't a biatch.
Yeah, it's like, she knew what was going on. But it's like, that's the thing. It's like, well, you don't need to know everything. It's like, if we get cocky here, then that could screw everything up, right?
Her character, I thought, was going to be for Leia, but her character was important for Poe, for Poe's growth as a character. Poe got the best growth of any character in this movie.
Oh,
I
for
would
sure.
argue. Because he learns, and he has to learn, and that's because he's Leia, and he has to be. You and Andrew did a video on this in March.
Yeah.
He's got to lead the resistance. He is going to be the leader. And there's that moment when they announce a new leader, and he's like, and it's Holdo, and he's like, oh. But
Yeah.
they're grooming him. They have to be grooming him for that role.
And that's what hit me in the middle of the movie. It's like, wow, this is all new Poe stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm like, is it because I've been reading the comic and I'm like, well, like Poe is pretty impressive. He's unstoppable. But like in Force Awakens, he's kind of put to the side. But
That's because he was supposed to die.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, Holdo was a great character, and it was like, what is she like? I can't see Laura Dern just being a typical like I'm the grizzled chief of police, and I'm gonna stand in your way, Batman. Like,
It's almost
that
like-
doesn't really work for Batman, but you know what I mean.
But it's almost like her and Leia before all this. They were in cahoots. They're like, if anything happens to me, this is the game plan. Like she knew it was Leia, Holdo.
I do wish I could have read the Leia YA novel to see how it would
She's
add to it.
Yeah,
she's in it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can ask Andrew about that
Yeah.
on Saturday when he watches.
When he watches it, I can't believe he's waiting that long.
I know.
Or wait, he's seeing it tomorrow night?
No,
Or
Saturday
Wow.
morning. I think.
Impressive. It's true though. I said to you, it's like when we're talking about like we're split. We're in a group of 10 people. We were split on how we felt about this movie. Andrew is like our Luke, where he holds us all together. Because I said to you, I was like, if he doesn't like this, I don't know what to say. Because
Yeah, I'm very curious on Andrew, and I think Andrew and Rob are going to do a review at some point, just
Sweet.
because I think it's healthy to have more than one.
oh
opinion.
yeah,
People-
for sure.
and
I mean, that's the whole point of this podcast. But
Yeah. It'll be 2 minutes though, and I'm not giving Andrew any more time than that.
but yeah, it's sort of. Oh man, love this movie. Should we go to Kylo Ren?
Let's do Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
At Force Awakens, I was super excited for Kylo Ren. I got a Kylo Ren pop topper. I have a Kylo Ren shirt. I got the 3 die casts of Kylo Ren. I love Kylo Ren. In the Force Awakens, he was okay. I don't think he was the greatest villain ever. This movie, my opinion of him, I really enjoyed Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was so great. I mean, people may say like, "Oh, he kind of flip flops." I was like, not really. I think he holds back, and I think that's something we'll see in the next one.
He is in this movie. He is 100% Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
In a different scenario, like he is Attack of the Clones Anakin. But the Republic is the First Order, and then because he's even like, look, we can do this together. Like, he wants to lead the galaxy in what he believes is the right way, which was curious to me because Rey's like, no, that's not the way to do it. But then I was thinking, he just wants everyone to die, which is wrong. But at the same time, I wonder what his galaxy, which I really want him to lead the galaxy. And I was like, I wonder what his galaxy would be like. Is like his idea of peace actual peace, or is it like Palpatine like back crazy?
Are we going to see in the next movie the same Kylo? Is he still going to be all in black? Because I feel like the way he is because of Snoke. Even though in the movie, right at the beginning, it's like, why are you wearing that stupid helmet? But it's like, it feels like he really doesn't let go till Snoke is out of the picture.
And Snoke
sort of like, oh, this guy didn't do anything. It was all me. And he's like, that's it.
And Snoke is like, that's a stupid helmet. Take it off.
Yeah.
Like, he actually calls him on it, which is great. I really, really enjoyed Kylo. Still has his crossguard saber, which is great. They didn't get rid of that.
And I liked, he really did that, like holds out the sword like this, almost like he's just afraid to get near things.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And Rey does not fight like Sidious at all in this. At all.
No.
Because everyone's like, because she does this, but Luke does that as well. So
Yeah.
Anyway.
Actually, when she was doing the lightsaber around the stone and she holds the lightsaber like this, I thought of Ahsoka.
Nice.
But
nice. I think that's just choreography.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and I'm not saying that for the story. I'm saying that in general. When everyone's like, "Well, this and that," I'm like, "It's choreography." Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure there's little things that they see here and there. Overall, the story now, it was a very simple story, and we think people are going to be divided on it.
Yeah, because it's a long story, and there is a lot of like, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm good, I'm bad, and the end is, well, we need balance. We got to get rid of the past, and like it's not gonna be one side or the other. It's like, well, maybe that's not true. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like what Luke is saying and what Kylo is saying throughout the whole movie is how we end. It's like, oh, that's right. Like, we need to stop thinking about the original trilogy. Like, George Lucas is gone now. It's almost like, hey, George Lucas did a great thing, but we're moving on now. So get on board or see ya. Like, which is probably not a good thing to say to fans, but you know what I mean.
Well, that's true because they're in this place now where we're and I'll compare it to a Marvel film. Mm-hmm. When you walk into a Marvel film, you're like, well, there's a Marvel film, and you just sit there and you watch it. Yeah. And then you were talking about it yesterday. You're like, your friend's like, he hates the superhero movies, but he goes to see them, but he hates them. Yeah. And Star Wars is almost like they could do that easily. Oh yeah. But I feel like they don't want to. They're gonna stop because they did. Because Rogue One, I love Rogue One, but Rogue One, I feel like it was going in a direction. They're like, nope, bring it into the Star Wars land. But now with this one, they're like, let's gauge it now. Let's see how far out of Star Wars world you guys are willing to go.
I think the thing they can't write themselves out of is like, we can never have a movie about peace because then it's not called Star Wars. Exactly. Or you just stop. Well, you can't. It's always gonna be called Star Wars : something. So there's always going to be battle. So it's like you can never find peace. But it's like I don't even know where I was going.
Well, I'll move on to, I think if you guys didn't love him before, you will after this one. BB-8, freaking droid, man, just comes in and steals it. When someone on Canto Bight starts putting coins in him, and when he rolls, you can hear the coins.
And then he shoots them out. I'm like, that's going to be a toy.
He takes over an AT... whatever
ATSD.
I don't know. Who knows? That was probably an AT-OT Telvo.
Yeah, you're right. It did look a little different.
It was cool though, and he took it over like Chewie does.
And that, I was just thinking about that. But I didn't want to change our thing. We see captains going now with their ships. Why the hell can't they just put a droid in there and they're like, hey, can you just push this button? Like, we got you saved on a USB stick. We'll put you in a new thing.
Speaking of droids, 3PO, I thought was perfect in this.
Perfect.
Did what he needed to do. Didn't overshadow anything. Didn't have a red arm. Just kind of went in. He was like, I'm a protocol droid. Blah, blah, blah. Did it. R2, I love R2.
Yeah.
Can't get enough R2.
I wish there was a little bit more. Yeah. But again, it's not his movie. And especially with, what's his name? That was the original R2. Kenny Baker. I'm super tired. With his passing away, I wonder if they're like, well, we love R2, but like without Kenny, it's just good. Now that Jimmy V, was it Jimmy V?
I think so, yeah.
He's the R2 seems like any R2 in all the other movies, but like maybe we kind of like ease back or like.
And like you said, there's no place for R2. R2 is Luke's droid. Yeah. And Luke is now dead. Yeah.
But I love that. Like BB-8's almost owned by all the characters. Yeah,
and so I thought Poe was gonna be jealous of like Rey when Rey's like BB-8, and Poe's like, you get away from my droid.
I love that their solution to sneaking BB-8 into the dreadnought is just to put a garbage can on him. It's like, they'll think it's a droid. Like, okay.
Well, if you look, there were those things around.
Oh yeah. But like, you know what I mean? Like flipped over. When they're in that room and they get the uniforms, and
the iron comes.
The iron's coming down. I was like, that looks like an iron.
That's what I said.
And I'm like, and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. But
that was awesome.
That's kind of nice. I like that little piece. They're like, well, they have uniforms somewhere, so someone has to take care of it.
I'm surprised they didn't bop someone with the back of the head and take it. Before we wrap it up, Luke Skywalker's passing.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for... I was like, we have to talk about that. I love that his end is with 2 setting suns. Yeah. I'm like...
Is he going to be back in 9? Force Ghost training Rey?
I hope so. I feel like that's where they could go, but they never really say he's like one with the Force. I feel if they dropped that, but like who would have said it?
He says that if Kylo kills him out of hate,
yes,
he'll come back and...
You're right. I like that. I would love that to be like this, like his conscience. Yeah. Like just constantly undermining him. Oh, that'd be amazing.
I'm curious to see what happens with Luke. See, they're in this pickle now with Leia. Yeah. Like, you know what? Kudos again to all of them because they could easily have, after Carrie Fisher passed away, they could easily have gone and been like, Mark Hamill, Luke's not dying. We need you to come back. So we're going to reconfigure that scene, maybe keep you alive. But no, they were just like, Gone.
with
He's
like
gone.
that like forced projection of a younger Luke. I'm like, why is his beard brown? Did he like? I don't understand what happened. And I was like, this is a Psycho. This is another Psycho. I feel like the explosion with Leia and then coming back is like that's to grab you, but then also like the hint that like things aren't what you think they are when you see in the movie.
Well, also he went back to Kylo in the form that Kylo
Remembered
has.
him. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
He looks so sweet in that black getup, and now. Thinking back to all the reports of like he's gonna be wearing this and this, and I'm like, yes, now there are differences into what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a send off! It was so perfect, and it also like it's sort of like, whoa, Snoke was sort of like, what, Kylo's gonna take me out? Yeah, right. Or you're gonna take me out? It's like, no. Like, I mean, Kylo does take out Snoke, but Snoke and Luke are like they are really they didn't. I'm not saying they should have battled, but they are sort of each other's equals. So,
and I think now we're in line for an amazing Kylo Rey fight, and that's the thing. That's why I ask about Luke, because there's no one with lightsaber skills in the galaxy anymore, except for Kylo, and someone's got to train Rey, or we're not going to get a cool lightsaber fight. And I don't think you can end this without one. I don't think you can.
Oh God, no.
Like, there's no way. So how do you do it?
I don't know.
Well, we're going to talk about this again on next week, probably Tuesday or so. We're going to watch it again and come back to it. We'll have our top 5 moments then, and never tell me the odds from this one as well. Brock, before we leave, let's give everyone a score out of 10, because yesterday you said this is going to be a 9 out of 10.
Yep.
Is it?
It's a 9 out of 10. It's spoilers for our what is it called? Ranking Star Wars. This is my new number 1.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, not sorry. How about that?
No, I'm actually really excited that that's not your number 1.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be. I think that's gonna push Empire into our number 1 on the rankings.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm so harsh. I gave
still good
because I gave Rogue One a 4 out of 5. 8.5. Does that make sense? Josh from the Den of Nerds is gone.
Josh from the Den of Nerds.
I can't answer because I'm in the middle of this. Aaron, do you want to give a rating out of 10?
7.
Come here.
She gives it a
Come
7.
No, come here. She gave it a 7. We have to have her justify the 7.
Why?
She looks like.
You look.
Who's down?
I don't know why I started that sentence.
All right.
Look.
You gave it. Oh, we're matching. We're married. What? So 7 out of 10. Explain.
It wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
But I thought it was. I thought there was a lot going on all at once, and it left me with more questions more than anything. Which a lot of things were unresolved. I think that was my main thing. But I thought it was really well done. I would watch it again for sure. And I think Kylo was probably my favorite character.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I still think, okay, so they're not twins because they're 10 years old.
Twins.
But I still think they're brother and sister.
All right. Well, you actually think that because at the end, Luke gives Leia
The die.
and then Kylo kind of picks up and it vanishes.
Yeah.
Because it was obviously a projection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's symbolic right
Yeah.
there. Anyway, guys, tell us what you think of the movie down below. Give us your rating out of 10. We'll be back next week to talk about it. Brock, where can everybody find you?
At BS Smink on Instagram and the Twitters.
Aaron, where can everybody find you?
On Instagram and Emos Music.
And you can find me at Instagram and Twitter and PlayStation 4 at Pets Alfino, where you can kick my butt at Battlefront 2. And I'm not even joking. Yeah.
If I can kick his butt, you guys can.
All right. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. We'll see you next week when we do episode 73.
Wow.
Thanks for watching, guys. It means a
lot.
lot. Take care.
Bye.
Wait.
What?
You were always Rebel Scum. Oh, you're always Scum.
Rebel Scum.
Hey, scumbags. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.